Alright, boys and girls. Assuming we got this phone straightened out on all our settings and our computer straightened out on all our settings, we'll be able to post this video. This was our planetary that was going to get four 4CX 250Bs. And then we had a run of three 500Z amps come through for repair. And I had been contemplating building one. I had this case down here stashed for quite a while, about a year and a half, contemplating how I would build one of these amplifiers. And I finally, after a year and a half, got around to finishing it. And right now the case is in being redone. But this is going to be basically the same thing as what I'm running, only this guy's going to have its own driver. Now, normally our amps are black with the brown wood grain. And where you can see the holes now, there are meters and stuff that are going to go in. But that's just light from behind the wood grain panel. The front on this one's going to be all wood grain with a black top. Here's our top side. We got our tune, load, tank, our special wires we make to hook all this top side up. This is the filament choke. Now, we're doing the filaments a little different on this amp, and I'll talk about that in the final video. I'm not going to talk about that now. But this basically has three, like a JB2000 choke, it has three conductors. The third conductor for the center tap of the filament supply is also made out of this wire and wound around the original filament choke. So now what's going to happen is this guy's going to come around here, and on this side, through a stack of diodes, we're going to take the whole pack to ground, light it up, and hope for good bias luck. Anyway, our high voltage choke is in. We're starting to use this braided stuff now, which is basically just coax shielding that's been flattened out. High voltage transformer is going to sit here. Now let's get to the bottom. And something else we're doing on this, we're kind of doing our direct injection deal on this one, like we do on our little mini amps, our little pill boards. Coming into the amplifier on the bottom will be your input. It's going to come over here and fire directly into the input relay, which is going to switch it and fire it straight into my tuning circuit, my input tuning. Right here, bam. And it's going to come off of that, boop, over and up to the tubes. That's how we're going to do that. This is going to be our relay for switching our high voltage off and on. And we have a 12 volt supply in here. Now, you notice we have two sets of rails here. One is each side of your line cord. White, black, black is switched. Okay. Now, the way we're setting this up, if you want to make it 220, you can. All that's going to happen is you're basically going to make a center tap and have to move some stuff around as far as, clip a couple of these. But you basically be able to wire it up for 220. But right now we're set up for hot, neutral, and it's grounded. And the reason I did that was I hate seeing these with 5 million wires attached to them, all conglomerated and stuck on. This way you've got plenty of screws for all your devices inside the unit. We've already got our AC for the 12 volts hooked up. Next will be our high voltage transformer, our filament pack. So what we have done, we have to put bleeder resistors across, or equalizing resistors across the cap still. We were kind of just speedballing a little bit putting this one together because we changed course in the middle of the build. So yeah, we're that's a safety and quality thing. Not everybody puts them on, but I do, and we will before it's over. So there we go. This is going to be, now here, the cool thing about this one is that now mine is being driven, right now I'm running my 86V into this handy little boomer, and I'm dumping 10 watt dead key, so swinging about 180 into this BIRDCAGE. That's right, 10-8 straight, 409 strong. If it don't say that, it ain't shit. This is our new platform, 2-3500Z Triode BIRDCAGE. Now it's hard to see in this light. That's a triplet movement. That's an old triplet movement. Those are very expensive. And we are running graphites, which I try to get all my customers to do. But this one is mine. Now, there's a couple of cool things about this one. We didn't put a hardball switch in this, mainly because I added a little safety loop. If you've been talking and this amp's tuned up, it's been doing its thing, and you go to shut it off for the night, the way this amp is set up is when you first turn it on, this has to be in standby because this standby also turns our high voltage on in my unit. Since this wasn't built for a customer, I just built it the way I wanted to build it for myself. Customer is also going to have this switch, but it's going to be a little different. So on mine, though, if you forget to put it on standby to shut the high voltage off and try to shut the amp off, notice the amp stays on. You've got to put the unit, try to shut it off, nothing happens. We put the unit in standby. Our light shuts off there, still lets us know our high voltage is off, and the amp powers down. Now that's not a good thing to do what I just did with these tubes. The filaments don't like being turned off and on. Pair of 3-500 ZGs. Set of Collins tuners. We cut out of a Collins. We put the Collins bezel on the front of mine. It's an old JB 2000 case. And we mixed the black and brown wood grain with the gold amenities because this one's mine. Now once our filaments are warm on mine, I know you get a nice look at the movement cause without without the camera you can see it great. But our high voltage just kicked in. The amp's on and running. So right now we are on 5,000 watt scale, and I haven't even tuned it today. I've actually been working on building this one. We are on the top scale, 5 kilowatts. Somebody stole my mic. Here we go. Let's take a look at this bad fella. Well, now that's a little bit high for a carrier. I don't usually run a carrier that high. So let's bring that carrier down. Well, no, that carrier tonight. Okay. Audio. Just short of 2,250 watts. And like I said, we're not even completely tuned. So, now this one is going to be the same amp as this one. Only this one's going to have a 2-pill driver in it, so you can just use it as a low drive amp and not have to run something like this into it. Believe it or not, we're going to scrunch all that stuff in here. The driver amp will not be variable adjustable. It's going to be a fixed unit. And just going to be a switch controlling it off and on in case he wants to shut the big tubes off or just run a couple 100 watts out of the 2-pill. He can do that. That's basically his lowest power. And then we are also going to put a high low switch on this thing. We're going to do a little dancing with the high voltage and actually give the triodes high and low power as well. So there it is. We've changed our platform. We're using the probably most expensive tube for what it actually does. But they're cool looking. They're nostalgic looking. This one here has been kicking tail since I turned it on. Hasn't let me down once. Ever since I got rid of the JB 2000 transformer that I built my stuff around in the beginning, that was a bad idea. Once again, guys, if you go to buy one of these amps with these big triode tubes, if you don't see a separate filament transformer, and it's not extremely cheap, if your transformer is all one piece, all the taps come out of a single transformer, if it ain't real cheap, walk away from it because you're going to be putting a transformer in it. This one has separate filament high voltage transformer. Mine has a Heathkit SV220 high voltage and two 15 amp 5 volt little guys powering my tubes, and as you can see we got plenty of filament current right there. So basically these amps are the same amp, only I said this one's going to have a built-in driver. So, and we're doing something a little bit different on the filament, which like I said, it's just been a long day. I don't want to get into that right now. Tomorrow when we've got RF going on, and then we'll have something to brag about. But there it is. This one's going to JR. I think she's in Iowa. I think. I could be wrong. Ohio. Something like that. He ain't in this state. He gone off somewhere, and it's late, and I don't remember. But anyway, JR, here's your box so far, bro. We'll be making RF with it tomorrow. We'll be putting all the smoke and mirror BS meters and whatnot on it. I believe every meter that's on an amplifier shouldn't have a scale. It should just say bullshit, because basically that's all they are. They're very rarely accurate. So there it is. A 1 kW RMS glass envelope triode BIRDCAGE. That's the way we're building them now. So there we go, guys. Mine's a keeper. I'm keeping mine. I've had several offers on mine already, and I finally mustered up the balls to say, no, I'm keeping this one. So that one's mine. forget about it. I'm keeping it. You want one, we will build it. This is the way they're going to go, guys. If you want a single 3500Z box with no driver in it, it's going to be $1,600. If you want my amp, minus the Collins bezel, unless you supply your own, because we scavenge that ourselves, that amp's $2,250. Brand new. We cover everything with the tubes for a lifetime. So there you go. BIRDCAGE has got a new platform, and I like it. I like what we're doing with this amps now. If you believe in the big man, give us a couple prayers, because we're hoping this was going to fire up on the first try tomorrow. So there we go. One down, another one almost in the books. And by this weekend, it'll be at its new home. So it's been a while since we made some videos. We had some problems. Hopefully this one's going to upload with no problem. In the event that it does, I can say 7.3s, and sorry about the delay, guys, for any videos or anything else you've been waiting on. It's been busy around here. It's been very, very, very freaking busy. I can't even start to begin. No, we don't work on guitars now. I got my Strat. They'll work on my Strat now, so I can play it now. But anyway, there it is. That's 2 days, 3 days worth of solid work, believe it or not, because we had to rip out what we started with and put it back to this. And my buddy Doc's going to be going, why didn't you hold the camera still? Because I'm freaking tired, Doc. Sorry. All right, everybody. There it is. JR, it's coming along. Don't get your panties in a bunch, dude. Get sand out of them. It's coming. 7.3s, everybody. Stay safe.